in the end, we're all connected, you know? So if someone gets hacked, it could impact also their vendors or their, you know, set of customers that they have as well.
Hi, everyone. We are here with Fabiola Munguia, the co-founder of Secfix. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I'm very excited to be here.
So I'm super excited to talk about what you are building. You are in the cybersecurity space, very deep tech. Can you walk me through in like 30 seconds, just a brief rundown of who you are and what you're building today?
Yeah, sure. So basically, yeah, I'm Fabiola, the co-founder. I have actually 2 other co-founders, and what we built is actually we automate compliance for startups and SMBs. So basically, we help them to do this like hassle-free and easy instead of them spending like 18 months to finish all of their compliance burden. So normally they would do like a lot of Excel sheets and Word documents to really show that they're trustworthy to their partners. And with us, they can actually automate that at a fraction of the time and also at a fraction of the cost as well.
How did you get into the space in the first place?
Well, actually, it started at university. Like my parents are actually both entrepreneurs. So I always wanted to build something like from scratch, so to say. But then at the university, I actually saw that there were like these trends in cybersecurity, like a lot of cyber attacks and also, you know, data breaches. So I actually had another company before where I was like pretty much selling ethical hacking services, like, you know, being from the hacker's perspective, how would you actually simulate a hacking attack? And a lot of my clients actually said like, hey, are you actually building something also for ISO 27001 certification? We need to show that to our partners that we're trustworthy, and they wanted actually now so we can close a bigger deal with them. And I've seen that it takes a lot of time to get that. Like, do you have some ideas on how we can build it faster? And then we just kind of like thought about it, and it was like, actually, why don't we just try to build that ourselves and help these little companies automate a lot of those processes?
Right.
Yeah.
With parents as entrepreneurs, what about their experience inspired you to build something of your own? Were you not turned off by like the challenges of being an entrepreneur as well?
Yeah, I would say, like, if I'm being honest, in the beginning, I mean, when I was little and I was looking at my parents, I was like, this is tough. Like, I really thought, like, I mean, there are a lot, it's like a roller coaster, you know, like they had a lot of like ups and downs. But I really liked like the journey that they had, like, you know, the experience that they get and how much they can actually also like really learn from that. That really kind of like stuck in me. So I was like, really I just wanted to try some things out.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to go directly into a corporate job, just because I knew like I can do that later. But right now I'm young. I just finished university, so maybe I will just try it out, see if it works. And actually it did.
Yeah.
So I'm still doing this.
So you're inspired by the journey. I love it. Speaking of that though, like you mentioned, you had another company at first. You kind of pivoted into what Secfix now, you know, delivers to clients. When you are talking to clients, pitching why you are the right fit for them, what do you tell them? What really are you offering like on a step-by-step basis today?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So basically, I would say like the main things that they're normally looking into getting into this, especially because it's cybersecurity, is a very trusted partner. And since our customer profile is small companies, they don't really have a lot of resources. So they're looking for someone who can actually, you know, take that burden away from them. So I think both the automation part of the platform is one thing, but at the same time that they feel that they're hand-holded during the whole journey, especially because like I really like laugh a little bit about that, but a lot of our clients, they think it's like they need to pass a test or something. It's like they even tell me like in the calls, like I'm a little bit nervous about the test or about the exam, and like it's not an exam, don't worry about it, it's actually just an audit.
Right.
But yeah, they actually just want to have like this, you know, personal support as well. So both the automation and the support are the things that they're looking into, and having a trusted partner for a long term is actually something that can help them as well.
Yep.
And yeah, and from the other side as well, like they want to grow as well. They want to, you know, just not do ISO. They want to do GDPR. They need to do NIST 2. If they want to go to the US, they need to do SOC 2. So actually that opens a lot of like different things that they actually need to do, and it's more complex. So just having a partner and a platform that can scale with them and help them grow their business that's actually what they want in a provider, basically.
Definitely. How does AI come into play? I think that, obviously, as you're talking about these former cybersecurity threats that you had experienced that kind of inspired this, and just so much of the changing tech ecosystem, AI is a huge part of that. How is that impacting what you're building?
Yeah, I mean, I think like lately, especially lately, this has been like a lot lately. Like there's a lot of different things that you can see already in the market. And I think the main part of AI is like how can you actually use that to automate workflows? Like I don't think it will be able to actually like automate everything, but I think you can actually use that to create different things. For example, right now, one of the main things that we're doing is that we created a virtual chief information security officer assistant. So basically, we have our team of compliance experts, right? But they also want to have like direct communication or just kind of like get their own know-how without needing to wait for a person. So basically, we have this assistant that we created with AI and actually gives them responses of things that they need to do on the platform, or when they're actually like working on a specific topic and they're like, hey, what are the best tools that I can use to create this process or this security process right now in my company, like basically can give them recommendation on that. So that's just one little use case, but there are so many things that you can now do with AI that will definitely change how the industry and also how this specific compliance and GRC market is growing.
Is there anything in terms of AI that you are looking out for? I mean, I feel like we hear about it all the time, like the dangers of AI, especially when it comes to cybersecurity threats or different, fakes online or different things that we have to kind of suss out. Like, is this a legit piece of information that I'm receiving? How are you thinking about that as you are working on these compliance and cybersecurity conversations?
Yeah, so basically that's actually something that is trending as well. Like there's also this AI Act that is coming. So it's also something that they will need to do in the future, especially a lot of companies that have been pretty much built with LLM. They all will need to get compliant with that. So right now it's good that, for example, if they have already created like their basis of security with ISO 27001 or with SOC 2, for them it will be also easier to kind of like transition to other requirements and regulations that are needed for this AI, like specific field. So yeah, I guess like in the end, it's just about like understanding like what can you actually do in terms of AI, and also trying to document that and show that to your team as well on what's allowed and what's not allowed. Like, not sharing specific private information, or making sure that they know the guidelines of what they actually can do. That's also important, and part of the things that we at Secfix are also building to help our clients, get more clarity right now, because it's still very, in its infancy and it's growing very fast.
Yes, it is very new and it is changing so quickly. What are some of the predictions you have about the future of how AI is going to impact what you're doing and what your clients are offering?
Yeah, so I think the main things that are going to change is that the way how we actually like collaborate with AI right now. So I guess right now it's more us being kind of like receptive on getting information from, chatbots, from ChatGPT, or from different parts. But in the future, I think it will be easier for specific workflows that you can create in the company to actually like already give specific instructions of what you want to give to, basically to build that evidence. Like, for example, if you're thinking about compliance, there are specific things that you will need to do. Like sometimes you need to create a specific meeting or a specific evidence for the audit, right? And right now it's pretty much still done manually, but a lot of those things could be actually like already been set, that you can collect this information, like joining a meeting, then the AI can actually write all of that information for you, and then being completely uploaded on the platform, for example.
That totally makes sense. And you mentioned too that some of your clients are expanding to different markets, like, expanding to the US or other sorts of things. Where are the majority of your clients coming at you from today?
Yeah, so most of them are from Europe. Okay. Like since we're like basically pretty much based in Europe, all of them are from there, and most of them are expanding either within the European Union or actually like to the US market. That's basically what I've seen in most of the trends. But yeah, I would say right now we're mainly focusing on the DACH region, like in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, but also UK and Europe have come kind of like into play as well.
And what different industries are these clients coming from?
From actually, I would say most of them are startups like information
Okay.
technology, like they're building either their own software, like in different spaces. Like since most of them actually need this specific standard for getting bigger deals and pretty much like setting up the tone that they're trustworthy. It's actually like industry agnostic, but I would say information technology or software development is the one that we see the most.
Yeah, definitely. You have 4.2 million in funding, correct?
Yeah.
What was that journey like to get investors on board?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. I would say, I mean, it's definitely challenging, especially because I'm actually not from Europe. Like my roots are in El Salvador, and I actually needed to build my whole network to get where I am. So I would say it was like a roller coaster of itself. Like already being an entrepreneur is a roller coaster, but
But you're in it for the journey.
yeah, racing around, it's tough. But I would say the main things that I learned is that the network is super important. The network that you built in the country that you are, that's definitely what's going to help you kind of like bring that social proof that you need for your company to make sure that people can actually believe as well in your company. And the second one is actually the team that you want to have, like basically having like a good, pretty much like founding team,
Right.
with different skill sets. That's actually what actually was helpful to be able to raise a good round, especially because I was like focused more in like the business side and my co-founder was focused more on the technical side. And we have a third co-founder that has information security expertise and has been actually had the problem for 12 years of actually creating all of these things manually. So it was like a good team that could actually execute that.
How did you guys decide, besides just having different expertise that you came from, that you guys were going to be good co-founders together? Because that's a very specific relationship to build with people. You're in it then for the long haul with them. So what characteristics made sense for you guys about each other that made the partnership work?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's in the end, it's always like a gut feeling. Like, if you can click with someone or not. But I would say if you're looking for a co-founder, normally what you would like to see if they have like the same values as you have, if they have like the same ethical, like how they work, like how they actually like express themselves and what they want to build. If they have these inspirations as you want them, then actually like it's a good fit. And the most important thing is that you actually have already done something with them. Like, for example, with my co-founder, we actually had another university project that we were working with. And then the third person that joined, my third co-founder, joined actually later. And we actually worked with him. Like we knew him from the Munich network. So we said like, hey, let's just start working together. Let's see if it fits. And then it kind of like, we just clicked and it worked.
Definitely. When you are talking with your co-founders, a lot of this, I'm sure, is about like what the vision you have for the future is and making sure that aligns with each other. What is that vision today? What are you guys excited about building?
Yeah, well, I would say like our vision in the end is to actually like become the European leader in compliance and automation. Like this is actually what we've dreamed about since we started the whole company. And we're actually in a really good pace building that foundation to get there. But I would say in the end, from that part, what we also are super excited about is actually just building a really good company with great values and with great people, and especially like completely remote. Like we're 100% remote, we're based in different countries and we're so diverse, like everyone is from all around the world. And I think just like leaving that impact to people and especially to my team, that they can see that if you're a woman or if you're a female founder, you can actually make it in this kind of industry. That's really nice. And the same goes with my co-founders. Like they're also not from Europe or from Germany, so putting that footprint in Europe is actually like one of the biggest impacts that we want to leave.
What has the Munich startup space looked like? How would you describe kind of that environment that you're in?
It's actually a really nice environment. Like you have like since I studied at the Technical University of Munich, I had a lot of like different activities or different, pretty much events where you could go, like hackathons and meet people. So they do have like a very good structure of startups and a really good startup hub as well. So I would say like also this foundation of the Munich startup helped us a lot to build our, pretty much to set everything for success, especially because of the network, but also the support that we got. Like we got into accelerator programs. We did also some smaller, pretty much like events or projects at the university as well. And for recruiting and hiring, you have also the support of the university. Right. So it's actually goes really well all together.
Yep, to build that network that that has been so critical for you guys.
Yeah.
What are some of the biggest misconceptions about the cybersecurity space, do you think?
I would say one of the biggest ones is basically you think when there's a hacking attack happening that there was some kind of flaw in like, I don't know, like the software of or the system. But most of the time it's actually like human error. So I would say that's actually one of the main things that would cause a hacking attack. It's because, we as humans, we're just a little bit clumsy sometimes, I would say. So that's one of the reasons why when I talk to my clients, I always say like, hey, make sure that you build up this cybersecurity culture as well in your team, that, employees don't get upset when they're getting onboarded and they need to do a security awareness training, and they are just thinking like, oh, I just want to get done with this, but rather like really make sure that they understand the impact that they as humans are having for your company and also for other companies, because in the end we're all connected, you know. So if someone gets hacked, it could impact also their vendors or their, set of customers that they have as well.
What would you say are your predictions for the future of the cybersecurity space, that how AI and new technologies are infiltrating? What are you kind of looking out for in the next couple of years?
Well, I would say obviously with AI, there will be more investment into the vulnerability scanning and also into spaces of compliance. Like basically pretty much what we started like 2 to 3 years ago now has kind of like picked up the pace. So now you see like before, like let's say 2 years ago, when I was talking to people, to customers, I actually still needed to educate them why ISO 27001 was important. And now they basically just come to me and say like, you don't need to tell me why it's important. I know I need it. I just know how can I get it,
right?
So I think in the next couple of years, it's going to be even more important not only to have one standard, but actually like that you can, as a company, set up a good roadmap of things that you want to achieve to create trust for your partners and for your business. So pretty much compliance, doing vulnerability scanning, making sure that you have pretty much setting up all of your security best practices in the company. That's going to be something that will take on more and more work. And especially if there are more AI tools available for that, that's going to make it easier and, less expensive, because right now it's still very expensive to create all of this. Especially for small businesses, they cannot, as of now, actually like afford a lot of these tools.
Right. The last question I have for you, as you're working with small businesses, emerging startups, what is your biggest piece of advice for things they should look out for or steps that they should take to make sure that they are compliant and kind of looking out for all these things that are changing?
Yeah, so I would say don't overcomplicate it. As a small business, like one of the things that I always see when they come to me and they feel overwhelmed, especially like in the first, I'm still doing like the sales part because I love to talk to my customers. I like to talk to my prospects, and they feel that they don't know where to start. So sometimes they just try to kind of like, just pretty much set that everything up way too complex. Like all of their processors are made for enterprises and not for small companies. So that would be like my first advice, to make sure that they try to keep it simple and lean. And that's, for example, what we try to do with them. Like we kind of like give them that guidance. And secondly, to not wait too long. It's like going to the doctor. Like when you go to the doctor, you don't want to go there when something bad is already happening or happened, but rather the other way around. You want to make sure that you can prevent this. And that's why I tell my clients, like some of them, they just come to me and say like, hey, I need this, but maybe in 6 months. And then 2 months later, they just come back and say like, hey, I either lost a deal or I'm about to, sign a deal with a bigger enterprise. And they're asking me about this. Can you help me get this faster? And it's a little bit already too late. So would be better if they could actually already think about it and not wait too long.
Definitely be proactive about it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. This was so fun to talk about all that you are building, and so much is changing. So thank you for walking me through all that today.
Yeah, thank you.